Hello, everybody, and we are back in the studio, back from our vacation, our time away, and happy to be home. Um, let's see. There's Mike's got tons of stuff that's popped over there at the store, so have a little bit of patience. If you were one that had asked me about the hoop and press mats, okay, it's the hoop and press mats. That's this collection of mats. How many's in here? Four, one, two, three, four. Yes, this collection of all of these wool mats. And the reason they're in different sizes is they work with the different size hoops. 5x7 hoop, 6x10, 8x8, that's square size, and 8x12. They are back in stock. I know there were a couple people that asked for them. They're available. All right, and I think in class, Jamie was one that had asked if you were looking for the Kimberbell Lace Studio. That just came back in stock as well. So Mike's got it. He's getting the things put in the system as fast as he can today. And our steampunk fabric arrived. It won't be in the system for another day or two because it's waiting on me. I've got kits to cut and get that set up. We will do a sew with the steampunk fabric. That is, I'm calling it steampunk. I forget what the official name is. I still refer to it as the Wild Wild West quilt because that's what it looks like to me. It's still a little disorganized this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get everything all together and going. Um, let me see. So I know a lot of you were following me on the Ironman race, and thank you. Thank you for all of your thoughts and congratulations and all that kind of cool stuff. The medals, I laid them down somewhere, and I'm sorry. I walked away. Maybe I can grab them and find them. We got back last night, and I'm still unpacking and doing laundry and putting everything back. Um, but it was a cool event. I will share a few things with you if you want to hear and to listen. Swim 2.4 miles. Okay. If the water is 76 degrees, 76.1 or cooler, you're allowed to wear a wetsuit. Guess what the temperature happened to be? 76.1. Yay. Because there were jellyfish. We call them jellyfish. They're called up there. They call them sea nettles. Some of them are this big, little, look like little tiny. Some of them are bigger. And have you ever touched a jelly before? That's what they're made of. They're spineless. And I did one time out in the Gulf a long time ago, not knowing any better. I took my fishing net and went like this and scooped it up. It falls through the net. So if it falls through the net, guess what happens as people are swimming? They fall apart, but they still sting. Fortunately, I'm not allergic, but I had them go across my forehead, across my throat. They stung me on my lip. I do have red marks on my wrist where they got me on both of my wrists. If it hadn't been for a wetsuit, it would probably been a whole lot worse. So um, they actually reversed the swim because the swim is in the Choptank River, and the river is tidal, meaning the tide comes in, the tide goes out, and they were going to have a really strong tide, and so they switched it. So they just reversed the way that we got in the water and swam our two laps. I actually had my best swim time thanks to my swim coach I've been working with. And when you get out of the water, they have wetsuit strippers. So you run out of the water and run up the beach, and then you sit down and you're taking your wetsuit off, and you've got people there grabbing it, and they help rip the wetsuit off of you. Then they give it to you, and off you run. All of your stuff that you need on the bike, meaning your bike helmet, your bike shoes, your bike nutrition, your bike if you're changing clothes, because you can. They have changing tents if you want. You get in a bag, you grab that bag, and you keep on walking or running, and you go into the ladies' tent. There's men's tent, women's tent, and you have people in there helping you, and you sit down and you change whatever it is you want to change. Well, I opted to keep on what I had and put my bike shorts on because I have bike shorts that have extra padding. For 112 miles, I knew I would appreciate that. And I have a jacket or a race kit for the bike that has sleeves, and I figured even if it was hotter, that would be good because 6 hours in the sun, instead of keep from getting sunburn. And the best part is it has deep pockets in the back, so I can put all of my food. So what kind of food? Well, I tend to, the goos and gels and that kind of stuff. And then I have 2 bottles on my bike, and I have liquid nutrition in there. About every 15 to 18 miles, they have aid stations, and where you can stop, and they have bananas and usually, let's see, Fig Newtons and Gatorade and water. So you can go through and yell what you want, and they'll get it to you or kind of hand it to you, or you can stop. You can stop. And then at the halfway mark, they have what's called special needs. And what that means is you can pack a bag with something you want. You never get what's in there. If when it's done, it's gone. So you don't put stuff in there of value. But, halfway through, about 65 miles, I think that's where it was, if you want something, well, for me, my something was Fortnos, the bakery, the local bakery makes the best Greek wedding cookies. Oh my gosh, those little round cookies in powdered sugar, and I thought, well, that would be a treat. So I put 2 of those in there, and Red Bull. I don't normally drink it, but when I'm racing, I want it. And halfway on the bike, because they don't give it to you on the bike, they do have it on the run course, but not the bike. So I have one that's cold, and I have it in there. Then I have extra powders that I can mix with water. And as a special treat, we had bought little packages of Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids that we used as favors for a race that we were sponsoring. And so I put those in. Well, so I have choices. So when I got there, I thought, no, I really don't want that. I do want my cookie. So there's this young girl, because at all the aid stations, they enlist the kids from the schools. So you have, from the cheerleaders to the band to the kids, middle school. If the parents are volunteering, there's kids, there's all ages. It is so, such a cool part of the community. So I stopped, and they help you. They bring you your bag. Hey, do you need anything? And they help you fill your water bottles, whatever. They're there to help you. So I told the girl, I said, you have to try this cookie. And she just kind of looked at me. I said, oh, yeah, it's really, really good. So I left one of the cookies with her. I had one. And then I said, here. And I gave her the Sour Patch Kids and the jelly, the Swedish Fish. And you would have thought I really gave her something. She was very appreciative, but it's always nice to say thank you. So off I go back around, loop number 2, and go back and head back about 20 miles before I got back. So after riding about 80 some miles, I started to get a leg cramp. So I had to stop and do stuff to work that out, which is taking salt and water and Gatorade and all this stuff and pedaling a little bit, not so hard. And so I did that, and I got back. And then it's time to do the run. Same thing. But on the run, they have all the aid stations about every mile. So you run about a mile or a mile and a half, and you stop. And there's, all the people and the kids. And I always try to tell whether it's the cops that are out there, because they have cops, directing traffic to make it safe, or the kids always thank you. And they say, no, thank you for being here. And I'm like, thank you for being out, because I'm moving. I'm doing 140.2 miles. They're all out there all of that time, or for hours on end at the aid stations. So it's, it's really, really a cool thing. Now on the run, we had to do 3 loops. That's about 8.5 miles, and then you come back again, and the uptown part was 4 times, but we had to do 3 loops. So, well, how do you do that? And how do you make sure people do these things? Well, we have timing mats, of course, we run across, but the loop in the park, the first time you come back through the loop, they give you a black bracelet. And this bracelet says Ironman Maryland, Krabby Nation. So you run through and you get that bracelet all the way up and back and do a second loop. The second loop, they give us a gold one. Okay, if you notice the colors, these are Maryland colors. So then when the third one comes back, it's like, oh my gosh, I want that red one. We get a red one. So that's how we kind of keep track, but you're still going over timing mats. And that last one is up the hill, and when you come down, it's like you come down through, and there's just people everywhere throughout the day. Out in the middle of like nowhere, there's people fishing, there's some photographers, there's people that live on the bike route, and they'll be sitting out there just having their coffee or whatever and cheering you on. On the run course, there's people, because that's through the town and the neighborhoods. They have, signs in their front yard. They have parties going on. There was one of the places, there was a guy that had a step ladder, and he'd climb up on the step ladder and squirt if you wanted to be squirted. He had a sprinkler. Some people just turned their sprinklers on next to the road so you could run through the sprinklers. There were some people that had coolers with water. Hey, you need water, here's free water. There was even a beer station. There was a guy at IPA and something else in little tiny Dixie cups right there on the run course. And then there was the station that said, what was it called? Sherpa, because we call the people that schlep all of our stuff that support us Sherpas. It's a good name. And they called it a Sherpa charging station. So if you were a spectator and needed to charge your device, your phone, because you're taking pictures, or your iPad because you're bored and you're watching a movie, I don't know, they had it set up in their front yard. So it's really cool. The town of Cambridge is really, really cool about supporting everybody. They have, and again, I'm sorry, I had class this morning at 11, so I did not organize myself as much as I'd like to. I will grab that. And I did post pictures on our Facebook page. They get the kids involved in the school. They talk about the Ironman, tell them what it is, in the community, and then they have them write notes, letters, cards, pictures, drawings. They turn them loose and they all, create something. So I had a guy that did a picture of a crab and even labeled it to be a Nigerian crab and colored it. And, you can do this, you got this. Or they write notes on it. So I have that, and those things become treasures. You hold on to them. And it's just, very, very moving and very nice. Ironman does a lot for the local community. They help, all of these kids that are out there, or all these different, people doing their organizations. They get money from Ironman as a, donation to them for manning the water stations. Couple of the things, and there's humor along the way. There was a guy on the run course, and then on the bike course, and then the run course, dressed in orange, cone orange. The cones you see along the road, that's what color. He had orange socks, he had orange pants, and no shirt. And he's out there dancing and cheering us on, and he did it on the run course. And next thing you know, he was on the run course. He was on the bike first, then the run. So you see that. Some of them dressed in other kind of crazy costumes. There was one dressed up as a dinosaur. And then there was, some of the athletic teams. I try to stop sometimes, and talk to them and find out what they're doing and that kind of thing. There was a young guy, and I asked him. I said, are you here for the school? He said, yeah. He was. I said, what sport? And he said, basketball. So I said, well, you should try triathlon. You should try a sprint, and told him what it was. I said, it's only a short 400 or 800 yard swim and about 10 or 12 miles on the bike and then a 5K. Well, his friend says, 5K after all that? And I looked at him, I said, hey, I'm almost back. I'm going to go run a marathon. And off I went. Everybody laughs. And it's fun. And that's one of the things, reasons that we do some of these things. They also, Ironman also has their foundation, which is a 503c. It's a charitable organization, and I've actually signed up to go up to Florida on November the 5th, yes, this year, and do my 12th, and do that with the foundation. So, you pay for the race, and then funds go towards the foundation that goes back in, for a lot of different things, either in the community or to help, other people and kids and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the longer version of our week. And then, of course, Sunday we got up and headed back. We got back last night. This week we have License to Create today. We are making the Halloween bags. Yes, happy Halloween with the bats. So we're learning lots of things, including making ruffles. I showed them how to make ruffles on the serger. Yeah, ruffles. And then tomorrow we have our Harvest Table event. If for some reason you have not taken it, I do have a few slots available in that. It's a 1 day. You could still sign up. If you could pick it up, you could get your kit. But if not, it'll be recorded and sent out to you. So we have that. On Thursday and Friday, Home Sweet Haunted Home. That's another Halloween. That's when we're going to be making a little house and a pillow and bats and a pumpkin, a quilted pumpkin. We're going to be doing that class. Let's see, next week, a License to Create. We have 2 days. We're working on the storybook. And Sweet as Pie. Yeah, that came in and Mike sent it out. We're going to be doing Sweet as Pie. And oh my gosh, this next week, the North Pole Tray. We are going to be doing that. And I worked on a few of the projects. Just a little hint. If you have one of the smaller machine or an older embroidery machine, and if you ever find that you have a problem, especially if it's Baby Lock or Brother, I don't know about any of the other brands, but sometimes if your Baby Lock machine, you use a PES file. Well, you pull that file up and it tells you don't have enough memory. This happened to me. I was using the Flare, I think it is. It's one of the new ones. And there's nothing saved on it, I know. Pulled the first design up and it tells me, there's not enough room. The solution to that is to go back onto your stick and bring it in as a DST file. A DST file is smaller, no problem. The only difference that you'll notice is the colors come out funky. But I don't care because I'm not paying attention to those colors anyway. So that's just a little FYI. I'm not sure, other than the way people save it. Sometimes with a PES file, they save it and the file is larger. The DST is a smaller file. Same stitches, same designs. So sometimes there's a little bit of a difference there. So let's see, what else have we missed? My Punny Valentine, guys. That's coming back as a small group. I only had 9 kits. I don't know, I may have a few of them left. That's going to be on October the 4th. If you've not done My Punny Valentine, you might want to jump on that. And then let's see. I know, because we were talking about, I love the fact that you guys have been searching and looking for your seam rippers. So we'll have to have a session just on seam rippers. But I love seeing the numbers of seam rippers from 1 to, I don't know, probably 20. Some of us like to collect them. I always find some along the way. But I'll tell you, and I noticed some of the ones that you have, maybe older ones, I still have those because I don't like to throw them away. And I have one by every machine and every sewing kit, and I do use them. Most all of them. The one I'm sad I have one I dropped and the tip got broken. But guess what? The other end has a stiletto, so I still use it. Our challenge for the month September and October is to make placemats for Meals on Wheels for the holiday season. So we're doing that through September and October. And I thought I just wanted to show you um, just a couple ideas. Simple, easy to make. You can do this out of a half yard of border print. So you can even take, if you've seen a border print that maybe you got and now you don't like it, what am I going to do with it? Easy. 18-inch by 12-inch placemats. That's a good size. Doesn't have to be exact, but it's a good size. So this was just one. I've got two different ones that I'm going to show you. This was one that I made. This was half a yard, and then you cut the borders, okay? This is a border repeat. So if you just keep in mind 18 by 12, then you can figure the rest out easily. Because I have a border print, whatever that is, I take off of the 18 and add the other, a different fabric across the bottom. But how did you do those? I'm going to show you. It's easy, really easy. This one I used 5-inch squares, so there's 4 across. I used 5-inch squares. Easy to make the adjustments. Then of course you do have to have a half yard of fabric for the back, so you need a little bit more, but basically a half yard will makes 4 placemats with your borders, because most of your borders have at least 4 prints. So I played around with, and you'll notice this one is bigger because this fabric, and sometimes with the border print may even be more because it's the width of the fabric. This one, 18-inch, but look how much more design there is. So I measured, I've got 18 across, 12 down. So I measured this, take it away from 12, is what the difference is, and it's not very big. It's just going to be a small piece. Well, look, I have 5 prairie points. Now this one is just pinned together just to show you. But the prairie point on this one, pull that off, is nothing more. Remember, I've told you, save some of those squares. This is a 3.5-inch, I think it's 3.5. Yes, 3.5-inch square. So all I did was cut a 3.5-inch square of fabric. Then you fold it in half and press it. Fold it in half. Again, this is the easy way to do it. Press it. And then lay it down however you want. So you can put them overlap. You can put 2 different sizes. You could just do so many things. But that's how quick and easy. So we do have this border print at the shop. And if you like Halloween, I would highly recommend you grab some of it. The other thing I was thinking about doing with the border print is what's left is to cut it into squares. I've got, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 different shoes. And make table runner. Yeah, so you could do a table runner out of this as well too. So a half yard of the fabric. Now you could probably do 2 placemats and 2 table runners out of that half yard. Depending on, you might need more, if you want more placemats, that kind of thing. So anyway, this is something that's really easy to do, and you could do it with Halloween print, Thanksgiving print, Christmas print, everyday print, whatever. But my challenge is still for you to make your table runners. Let me show you here. And if you like, look at these Halloween prints. Oh yes, that would be so pretty. This is not a border print, but look at it. You could certainly make placemats. This one I would probably cut a little bit differently. But look at those. Anything like that you can take and cut up and make either with a border print or just a block. If you have some 12-inch blocks, 10-inch blocks, that's a great place to start. Then you can add some other fabrics. But just keep in mind, most of the placemats somewhere around 12 by 18. It could be a little more, a little bit less, but 12 by 18. And then just, kind of lay it out. So anyway, that's what I was going to show and share. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments. I don't know if there's anything that popped up here. Let me see. Let me just see up here. Oh, Colleen, thank you. Welcome back. Yes, B, thank you. It was a good race. It was a good race. And yes, one more. So I do 12, and then there's a program with Ironman. Once I've done 12, I can apply for what they call a legacy. So you do 12 and then get in a waiting list and be able to do my dream race, which is Kona, Hawaii, in, I don't know, it'll be maybe another year or two. But yes, that will help me to qualify. Oh, thank you, Grand Jenny. Yes, Eileen, I do put batting in my placemat. So let me grab. Oh goodness, dropping everything. Okay, so just as this one, I do. I would put, right sides together. I do have a thin layer of batting, and for this one, leave a space somewhere open. About 3 or 4 inches, so you can turn it right sides together and turn it. I don't normally put binding on. You could if you want to practice your binding. That would be a good way as well. But then I top stitch it. So I turn it and top stitch. And if you wanted to, then you could stitch across the middle. I didn't on this one, but you could stitch across the middle. You could do some little quilted, like echo quilting. This would be a great practice to do your edge to edge or your all over. Lots of different things that you could practice on here. You've got some extra space. You could do a line of stitching. You could do a decorative stitch. It's a place to practice some of the decorative stitches on your machine. So that's what and you only have to make one. They don't have to all be the same. You can make, you don't have to make a whole set of placemats because they're going to be used with Meals on Wheels, and each one can be different. So it's a great way to play and practice with some of your stitches and things on your machine. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions or anything else that you would like to know about or see about, or what time did you finish? What time? Oh, finish my race. 14 hours and change. So yeah, I was out there for 14 hours, give or take. Yeah, it was a little bit more than that. It was about 9 o'clock, I think, at night. Yeah, what happens is I go down, through. I know, some on the run, they have a smorgasbord of stuff. Well, 2 things. Let me back up to the bike. It was a group of young guys and a lady, and she actually said, "Thank you for helping get my kids out here," or something like that, she said. And I was talking to her, and her kids were the kids from the school. And so, I tell everybody thank you all day long. And she had, I forget what she had there, because they put at an aid station, they have a group of people that do just Gatorade. Then the next one is a group that does just water, and somebody else that does bananas and oranges and cookies, the food stuff. Then another Gatorade, and the last one's water, and then trash. And then they have to pick up all the trash, because you know what's going to happen. People um, throw trash, and it's supposed to be kept within the area. Now, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I'm eating something because I have the stuff in my pockets, I take it and stuff it under my pants legs because my bike shorts, has the gummy stuff at the bottom. So I run around and have that stuff stuffed in. Anyway, she was giving me something and I said, "Oh man, do you have a gel?" And she said, "Yeah, they were there." She went and picked them up. They were fresh gels laying there. And the kid said, "Oh no, that's my job." So I said, "Well, bring them on over here." So I take my shirt and I go like this, and they're stuffing the gels and stuff down in my bike shirt. So when I get back and I unzip it, I have like 2 handfuls of all of these extra goos and gels and stuff um, that I'll have for another day. When it gets to the run, like I said, every mile, then you have more choices. There's still bananas, and actually, yeah, as many bananas as I ate the race day, I didn't eat bananas for a couple of days afterwards. They have bananas, oranges, and orange slices, and grapes. Then there's some of them that have Fig Newtons and other cookies. There's Coke or Pepsi, cups of potato chips and pretzels. So as you go through these aid stations, plus they all have water, and then they have Red Bull. So they have Red Bull in cups. Um, and when I'm racing and getting to that point, I need that extra. Yes, I do have it. Then as it gets close to sunset and starts to get a little bit, toward dark, for the rest of the race, they have chicken broth. You cannot imagine after racing all those hours, after 10, 12 hours, and not really eating food unless you had, something that you brought along, how good chicken broth can taste. So, I have some chicken broth. When I get to the end of the race, you get your medals, they take your chip off and, take your picture and give you your shirt and hat and all this, and they send you to the food tent. All I could do is just tell them I want it all. I was so hungry. I said, I will take it all. And they had tortillas, they had chicken, and they had rice and beans and all this stuff. And I take all of that. And then I walk back in a soda, walk back to our camper, which is not that far. It's up the street and around. I don't know. It's not that far because we were parked in a lot where within hearing distance of the announcer saying you are an Ironman. So I walk back and I go in, and Mike's sitting there with Huggy Bear, and I set the stuff down. I get a shower because I can't stand myself. I just start peeling off the clothes and putting them in a bag. When I'm done, it's like I can't eat. I've totally lost my appetite till the next day. I just can't eat anything. Stomach says no. So anyway, that's how all of that goes. Let me see. The snowman class, yes, Teresa, I have gotten permission from Shannon. The snowman, the Santa, and the Felix the Fox. They have given me permission to record. So anyone that signs up for those classes, if you can't make them, they will be recorded just like we do our regular classes. But April will be teaching them. She is the rep from Shannon, but we will record them. So yes. Alrighty, I don't see anything else. Let's see. Is Felix on counts? You know what? Uh, yes, yes. Uh, Cheryl, the Felix, I have to check all of them. I worked on classes last week. I don't think I have it on there yet because I was trying to see who had already signed up, how many kits that I had already purchased. Um, I've got the dates. If you've already purchased Felix the fabric kit, you'll be put right in the class. You don't have to do anything else because you're paying for the kits for the pillow, for the Santa, and for the either the Felix the Fox, or the Kimber Bear. If you bought any of those kits, you will automatically be put into the class. You'll automatically get the accounting. I mean the recording. If you haven't purchased them yet, they're still available on the website. You can do that. but I don't think I have it set up as a class yet because I didn't want to. It's just a numbers thing, and how many classes can Sherry put on the calendar at one time? So I'm working through all of that this week. Okay, I don't see anything else. If you have other comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and put them in or send me an email or a text. I'm going to head back over to class because we're making Halloween bags. The rest of you go sew something, make it a great afternoon, and we will have Mike's Tech Talk tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And I have to find my mouse here. I got too many screens open. Make it a great afternoon.